Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to NWCL Beyond the Boundary. I'm Kobe Donnelly, and today we have a special interview following on from Little Lever's success in the Hamer Cup on Sunday. We have first team player at Little Lever, Andy Flear. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. So firstly, could you introduce yourself, please? So just tell about yourself and your involvement in cricket.
Yeah, so I'm obviously Andy Flear. Been at Little Lever. I think this will be my fourth year now. Obviously do a little bit of batting, bit of bowling. Uh, Run from long on, long off all the time.
Yeah. Let's talk about your Hamer Cup win on Sunday. I think that's a good place to start against Paddy. We'll start with your first innings. So obviously Genty won the toss and chose to bat first on Reed Small ground. And you ended with 336 for four from your 40 overs. Obviously Ryan Cameron and Cam Murray both scoring centuries. And your sub pro Diego Rossier scoring a quick 91. It couldn't have gone any better in that first innings, could it?
No, not really. I'd say Reed's obviously a relatively new ground to a lot of the sides in the obviously Bolton side of the league. Um, but a lot of rumours are it's a bowler's graveyard and the wicket is flat. And we've played there twice, and on both occasions the wicket has been flat. So winning the toss was massive. Runs on the board in a final, and like you said, they just could not got off to a better start.
Yeah. And obviously 336 is a massive score and would be hard for any team to chase. Was it important your team kept a level head? Obviously that score was very chaseable on a ground like Reed, much as it'd be very hard to do that. If Paddy got to a good start, it would have been, they could have been in the game, couldn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we've played Padium quite a lot this season, and on every occasion, Iftikhar has got runs against us every occasion. So the talk at half time was the game was not done. We were not granted we had a lot of runs on the board for a final, but like you say, if they got off to a really good start, which they were capable of doing, and set up a platform for Iftikhar to come in, then it could have been a long afternoon in the field. Thankfully, it wasn't in the end.
Yeah. And one of your centurions, Cam Murray, has had an exceptional season this year, scoring over 1,100 runs and taking 33 wickets. I think we all knew Cam was a very good player from his time at Kersey and Dice Lever. But I think he probably exceeded everyone's expectations this year, including his own. What have you made of his debut season at Little Lever this year?
I obviously, like I mentioned earlier on, I've only been at Little Lever, so I've only seen this league for sort of 3 years, 4 years, um, and you could tell that there was something with Cameron when he was at Kersley. But every time we played them, we always seemed to get him out quite early. Um, Actually, getting to see him day in day out training and the way he goes about his batting, um, yeah, he is a serious player, serious player.
And what's it like for Cam to be around the club? Obviously he does it on the pitch, but how's it like having him in the change rooms and have that experience with you?
It's really good. Him and Riley have sort of built a very good partnership at the top of the order. So they're constantly relaying messages to everyone coming in further down in the order, what the wicket's doing, the pace, the bounce, anything like that. And they both complement each other really well. Um, as in, if one person gets going very quickly and they're quite aggressive, the other one knows to sort of hold back a bit, and they sort of complement in that way. Off the field, he's probably one of the nicest blokes you have ever met. Nicest blokes you have ever met. He is constantly trying to keep your head up in the field. Um, if you're having that a sort of that bad day, you're getting whacked or you drop a catch, he's the first man to run over to you, give you a pat on the back and say, "Look, come on, head up, we go again." He is that sort of player, and he's constantly, like I say, he's constantly bringing you back up.
Yeah. Real stuff. I think to go in the second innings, I was Paddy him got off to quite a slow start originally, and you managed to get him 50, 53 for free. And then a professional Ifti Nasir came in, and my word, he played some innings that didn't, 85 of just 27 balls. I think he used got a 16 ball 50 as well, 12 sixes. And yes, we all know Reed's small ground, but them sixes were huge. There were 12s. You know, he was absolutely smashing it. When he was getting to 50s, 60s, were you quite nervous that he could carry his team over the line there?
Um, yeah, I was starting to get a little twitchy. Personally, I think they took the power play at the wrong time. And I think that sort of brought a bit of a downfall. Obviously, they lost Zayden. Is it Zayden the overseas?
Thunder.
Who Xander? Sorry, yeah, I always get the both Reed and Paddy was mixed up. They lost him where he was just playing a nice role, sort of rotating that strike with the field out. And then if Takar was really, like you said, some of them sixes were going. That's some of the best hitting I've ever seen from a professional, first class professional, anywhere in cricket. That was just a serious knock. And I just think taking that power play, they sort of lost them singles where he was getting Iftikhar back on strike for him to do what he was doing.
Yeah. And, Riley came at the ball, he hit 2-6 in his first three balls, one of the overs. And then fourth ball, he whacked one up in the air to you at long on. And you have bucket hand as it is, but when that was up in the air and you was watching it, were you anything a bit nervous about that, or were you confident you was always going to catch him?
No, I was confident it would go in. I was just waiting for it to come down. I'd sort of set myself ready to take the catch, and then I'm like, right, come on, you can come down now. It just seemed to keep going up and up and up. But yeah, thankfully, my confidence was rewarded and it went straight in.
And when that wicket was took, I think that kind of was the game there. At that point, we did obviously you don't be complacent because they still had competent batters. After if they got out, but at that time, did you think, oh, that's game over now? I think we won it.
Possibly not. No. But no, I'll take that back. Yeah. Like you say, they've got competent batters further down that line, but when they're needing to go 8, maybe 9 straight off, it would take a serious amateur knock for that to come off. Of which, obviously, I've never seen anything like it of it coming off from an amateur. That's not taking anything away from the batters that Padgham had further down the order. But yeah, it's just somewhere deep down you're just thinking, yeah, this is done with. But like I say, I just don't be too complacent about it.
Yeah, and obviously you were in the T20 final a couple of weeks ago, and it was a close game. So you might manage to get over the line in that game. How nice was it for you and for the team as well to get over the line with this Hema Cup win? Obviously, you've won the Bitworth Cup, you've won the Premiership. How nice was it to finally get the trio now back in the Hema Cup?
Yeah, massive for the club. Not just for us as players, but I think we're very well followed. We have a good fan base that follow us home and away, who are loyal throughout win, defeat, everything. They're constantly there supporting us. So for me, it's more for them, and obviously Genty as a captain, the amount of work that he puts in behind the scenes, it was massive for him and the club.
Yeah, and can you talk about keep it PG, obviously. We can talk about your celebration as well after the game and when you got back to the club.
Yeah, so obviously there was a mixed coach with all the players and all the fans on there. So I think it was about 48 that filled that coach on the way back. So as you can imagine, there was a few drinks going down on there, a few bit of singing from the fans and what have you. And like I say, being well followed, the club was packed when we got back. So we actually pulled up and the balcony was heaving, waiting for us all to get back there. So yeah, good night into the early hours. I was a bit rough Monday morning and Tuesday morning, sorry. So yeah, busy night it was.
Real. So obviously, I think you obviously Cameron, and obviously amateur even. Riley Cameron, he was named played a match after scoring a century and taking 4 wickets in that game. How has he settled into life at Little Lever? And in the last month or so, he's actually been a baller as well.
Yeah, massive. Again, really nice lad, superb lad. Constantly trying to do something different in the game. So when he first come over, we were told he's a wicket keeper that could bowl leg spin. And as you say, in the last few weeks, he's actually turned into a bit of an opening bowler, bowling little mediums and bowling them really well as well. But he's, like I say, he's always willing to do something different for the club. He's always there, helping out with juniors, all stars, stuff like that. Helps Genty with the ground. Constantly wanting to do something that benefits the club.
Yeah, and obviously I put a Genty early in the season, and you got Snippen in the last year. He was brilliant. He was getting pro numbers for a lot of those years. When he left, he thought it's very hard to get obviously that much odd back quality. Now you got Riley, much as he hasn't taken the wickets like Nippen gets. He's really excelled with that, and not just that, he's really helped. If you look at Cam's runs, he's scored this year. Cam probably wouldn't score that many runs if it wasn't for Riley and having the partnership they've had, like you said before. Do you think that's kind of a big credit to whoever found him and brought him into the club that, he's actually done very well this season. Hopefully he'll stay next season as well.
Yeah, massive. Like like I say, numbers don't lie, and his numbers are very good back home. I think with Riley, it comes from Perth, where the wickets are obviously notorious for being really hard, really fast, very bouncy. And it just took him a few weeks to sort of adjust to that pace difference over in the UK. But now he's got it going. I think the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, we've seen a different side to him. Really sort of knuckling down at the top of the order. Um, Happy to give himself time now, whereas early in the season it was if the ball was there and he felt it could go, he would try and send it, and sometimes it was his downfall. But now he's now really getting in there and getting himself in before he starts with them aggressive
Yeah.
shot.
And you pro Mohamed Junaid, he's at the start of the season, obviously had a very good start. He continued that. He took bags of runs and bags of wickets as well. And I only noticed, I spoke to Andrea last week, I think it was at the under 18s game, and she mentioned right, he's gone home now. You know, I think it was big. I don't, you can probably explain to me what the reason behind that. Is there any reason why he went home? Obviously, I think you've got a sub pro in for the rest of the season as well.
Yeah, so we've got at the minute we've got Jury Snyman from Accrington for the end of the year. But with Mohammed, he told Genty he had to go back home for a competition that he had to play in. Um, Obviously, I don't get involved in all that side of it. I leave that to the hierarchy at the club who deal with the professionals and the overseas. But from what I believe, it was he had to go home. So obviously, we had to make arrangements to get some professionals in there.
Yeah. So obviously, your skipper, you mentioned before, Josh Gent. He's Mr. Little Lever, and so obviously it would have been a big achievement for him to win that Hamer Cup. He's done a lot for Little Lever. Won the Premiership, the T20 Cup, and now the Hamer Cup. How nice was it to see him lift a trophy on Sunday?
Unreal, mate. I texted him Sunday night saying that he completely deserved it. I don't think people realise how much, obviously outside of the club, we all do at the club, and we're forever grateful for it. But I don't think people realise how much he does other than captain the club. Um, like I say, he does the ground at the moment. So not only is he running his own business, but he does the ground as well. He's constantly there watching junior games. He's constantly there giving advice to all the juniors. He's the first one there in the morning, setting the ground up on a home game. And yeah, watching him lift that trophy Sunday was a special moment for him.
Hmm. And on the field, you see a lot of captains in the league who might open the batting, they might open the ball, and Jenkins only comes in middle order. You can offer runs. He scored a couple of half centuries this year. How would you describe his captaincy style, and how do the team look up to him as a captain?
Um, I think he's very quick to adapt and very quick to change. So our side is very. Not everyone has a set role. You could 1 week you could be batting six, next week you could be batting nine. You could get a score at nine and be batting four the week after. So he's always willing to change that based on the situation of the game. Um, One thing I do like about him is if you go up to him and give him advice. I've played under captains before in the past who you give them that advice, they just turn you away, and it's like I'll make the decisions. He's very approachable that you can go up to him and say, have you thought about doing this, or how about we try and do that? And he's very happy to listen to and take it on board, which I think is a good trait in a captain.
Yeah, and I think this season, obviously you sit fourth in the league, but you've suffered with injuries this year. Obviously, Mucky got injured, came back, and then he got injured again. Now he's out for the season. See, Curtis Hamilton's missed quite a few games as well. How have these players been injured? Obviously, how have these two affected you this season with them being unavailable from time to time?
It's it's been tough, but it's allowed the likes of myself and obviously Riley, other players that wouldn't have got that opportunity with the ball to get the opportunities throughout the season. But when you lose a bowler who took 100 wickets last year, and in Mucky you're losing 40 wickets and 600 runs, they're very hard to replace just at the drop of a hat. And I think we lost them both within the space of 6 days as well. And it was 6 days before we played Reed, who at the time, I think, well, obviously at the time, now are still top of the table. Um, Very hard to replace, but like I've said, we do have depth in our side where we can adapt and we can bring people forward to take on their role.
Yeah. And I spoke to Genty about the juniors and obviously bringing juniors through second team and obviously bringing them to first team when they're ready. I think one of those is Callum Hill, left arm spinner. He's come in for Curtis. Obviously, 100 wickets is practically almost impossible for any youngster to take that amount of wickets. But I think he's kind of when he's been available and he's played instead of him, he's really showed himself well. He's really done well with T20s and the league games. Where do you think his potential is in the coming 12 to 24 months?
Uh, I think he's got a lot of potential to be a regular first team bowler. Like you said, he's had to come up at the drop of a hat when he probably wasn't expecting it. And one thing with Callum is his how can I put this for him? He doesn't believe in himself that he is as good as he is, and he is a very good left arm spinner, very very good left arm spinner. His numbers in second team have been ridiculous, and he's bided his time to get this opportunity in the first team. And he's probably at the time was one of our best spinners when he was in there. He bowled some very good spells. So yeah, next eight sort of 24 months, I think you will see Callum bowling very regularly in the first team.
Brilliant. And before we move into the next section, I know we've commented a few times on Facebook. Obviously, you're very successful this year. I want to know, is the gaffer staying on next season?
Oh, you have to ask him yourself and see what he's got to say. I think the lads would love him to stay on. But yeah, you'll have to ask him.
Real, I'll definitely get in touch with him. So obviously we mentioned the league. You always sit fourth in the league, but with your Himmer Cup victory, you bagged yourself a like knockout place with the NWCL getting an extra place this season. What have you made of your season in the league so far? And obviously the injuries, the unavailabilities you've had this year. What have you made of the season
Um,
so far?
it's I'm slightly disappointed in it in a way. We've lost, no disrespect to the teams that have beat us, but we've lost to teams that we sort of expected we should be beating. Um, and we just didn't turn up on the day. Like you say, the injuries don't help, but we do have the ability and we do have the talent in the side that we should be able to replace that. Obviously, we're not going to replace 100 wickets in Kurt, but we do have bowlers good enough that we can step forward. Um, we've we've not really got going in the league. Cup competitions, we've lost one game all season, being the T20 final against Reed, and then obviously in the league I think we've won 8 and lost 8. We've not really got the year we won the league. We were really consistent and we got a really really good run going. I think we went 14 games without losing a game. We've not got that run going again. It's sort of we win one, we lose two, we win one. If we could have got that run going, then I think we'd be a lot higher. But like I said, the injuries haven't helped.
Yeah. And obviously 5 games left and the title race it's looking between Reed and Farmers Social Circle. Not saying any other club could get there, but it's probably going to be them too. You've got your like knockout place now. Is it just the next 5 games, just showing yourself who you are, and obviously you want to win every game you play. But you want to end the season on a high. You don't want to just be complacent now. You want to carry on your success what you won on the Cup on Sunday.
Absolutely, yeah. We're not just turning up to make up numbers for the rest of the season. We're going to be trying to ruffle a few feathers at the top of that table. I think obviously this week we've got to play Kersley. We've still got to play Reed as well. So hopefully a couple of wins there, and we could make that sort of top 3, top 4 interesting. Yeah, we're not just going to turn up to make the numbers up here because losing's a habit, and I think you end the season in a losing habit going into next year. Then obviously it's not a good start. Whereas you go into that winning habit, winning mentality, ready into the pre-season and for next season. Then yeah, we're looking good for next year.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned been able to for too long. You only lasted 1 or 2 years in the Bolton Cricket League. Since the merger with the North West Cricket League, as a player, what have you thought about it playing in the league and anything else that comes with it?
So I was a bit sceptical at first, but obviously I'd only had 1 year in the Bolton League when I joined Little Lever. So yeah, I was a little bit sceptical at first, but obviously it's changing. A lot of people don't like change, but I was happy to go along with it. I was pleasantly surprised at first at some of the standard, because obviously you hear rumours from other leagues and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, the Ribblesdale League isn't great, or this isn't great. And it's like, well, I'd like to see firsthand for myself. What I have noticed over the last sort of 2-3 years is that standard has just increased so much. The standard is far, far better than what a lot of people think. And my message would be the people out there that look at and just think the NWCL is rubbish. Actually, have a look at it because the standard's very good.
Yeah. And if you go for these extra Brazil clubs, is there any player or any club that surprised you in the last 3 years? You think, wow, very good player, but this club's got it really going. It's doing everything the right ways.
Reid, definitely Reid. I think obviously the first year when we played everyone once. Um, I think we bowled them out for 70, something like that. And obviously they finished in that bottom half of the table, resulting being in the championship. To watch what they've gone and done last year, and then watch what they're doing this year. I know they've got Chris Holton, who's a very good player. Um, yeah, they've surprised me massively from obviously the first year up until now.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this year. The relegation fight it's looking very close, and even the fight for the last knockout. It's probably looking like that it's going to be two Ribblesdale teams come up in the Premiership and two Bolton teams go down into the Championship. If that happens, is it going to be more exciting for you guys and obviously the other Bolton clubs in the top division to actually play out more Ribblesdale clubs who, if I look at Ribblesdale, we're under the top. I know they've played a few more games than others. I know they're in the Premiership last year, but to go there again and it's seeing you play. You don't want to be seeing the same people every year, the same clubs anyway. You want a bit of change every year, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the excitement with promotion and relegation, isn't it? So you get to see different grounds, you get to see different people every year. There's a lot of clubs in the Ribblesdale side that we didn't get to go to, like your Baxenden, your Earbies, Barnoldswick, and all that lot. We played quite a lot of them at home in that first year, so we didn't get the privilege to go and have a look at them grounds. So yeah, it's exciting, isn't it, having promotion and relegation just for that basis. You get to travel around and see other clubs.
And you mentioned all the positives there. Is there anything that maybe in the next 12 months and next 2 years, you're thinking, well, the NWCL could maybe do this and this could really, enhance the league, whether it's, I know some people mentioned, interleague games. So with, the
Yeah, there's
German
that.
national team we played in.
Yeah, there's that. My big one, I've heard a couple of rumours on it, is for me, first team cricket has to be 50 overs. Um, that's probably the one change that I would probably look to make. Um, Other than that, I think everything runs as it should. The T20 runs perfectly. The Hamer Cup's good. The only other change I'd probably say to the Hamer Cup is I know a lot of other leagues do it. Is your colour clothing and pink balls for your first team for your cup competition, maybe just to make that a little bit more intriguing. But other than that, everything's fine with the league, I'd say.
Yeah, I think a couple of you mentioned Cole Corbin, you think it obviously Saturday, you're playing whites, playing red ball. Do you think on a Sunday playing the Hamer Cup or even, the second team cup competitions, it kind of brings something new about it? It's just not this it's because otherwise you're thinking, oh, it's a Saturday cricket, it's the exact same. You want to change it
Yes.
up a bit and make it seem like it's something different for both the players and the spectators as well.
Yeah, exactly that. I was like say something different for the spectators, but also us as players. Obviously, you're using a different ball. Everything changes for the batter. It changes for the ball. It makes you think differently. Um, and who doesn't love a bit of colour clothing cricket? It's a bit of fun in it. So, yeah, that could be one change that we maybe look at.
Mm. And obviously this year we put in a new rule where in all competitions, all senior competitions, every no ball would become a free hit for the batsman. If you're the bowler, it might not be so good for you if you're getting your line right and you're kind of getting it all over the place. But do you think that kind of brings something new? When if you bowl someone bowls a no ball early on, and to be fair, I've seen a lot of free hits this year, and I've not seen many boundaries because you come at you think you want to whack it as far as you can. Sometimes you might have to change that kind of mentality about it. But do you think that brings something good about it, where you can actually bring a bit more for the fans and a bit more for the players as well?
Yeah, no, yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan of it. Personally, I'm susceptible to it myself. A good over the waist height no ball, but I don't see how bowlers should be bowling front foot no balls. But yeah, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah. So I think we're moving to some quick fire questions, and these are all about your Little Lever teammates. So start off with the most underrated player.
We mentioned him before. not underrated by us, because we don't underrate anyone in our side. We all have our values for everyone. But Callum, for me, I think massively to do what he's done and come in and bowl as well as he has, replacing Kurt, massively underrated, I think.
Real. And the most funniest player.
Torn between two here. So you've got Kurt, who just has a very dry sense of humour, very witty, and will just make you laugh with just a silly one-liner that he comes out with. And then on the other hand, you've got Bob Carter, who will just pull pranks on anyone and wind anyone up that he can, and just gets a laugh out of me every time. So yeah, one of them two, Bob or Kurt.
And I've seen with Curtis, I don't think you've been active this year, but the last couple of years, air horn CC,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time scaring. You're not done it this year. No,
No, we've.
how
I think since his ribs, we've put it away. We've tried not to scare him as much, but again, that's always Bob. Bob's always the one to get him on that.
yeah, I want to say I heard the air horn from one of the Paddy players on
That
Sunday
was
as well. That was really good. So I look forward to that next year. Next one is who gets the most fines.
probably me. Yeah, I tend to do some stupid things on a game day, so yeah, probably me.
Do you actually have a proper fine structure in place where you all go out at the end of the year and
Yeah,
stuff like that?
so we've not really had it this year because Kurt's the one that sort of runs it. He's not been around as much. So what we tend to do is, I think a lot of people will have seen it. Last game of the season, we do a fancy dress, so obviously that comes out of it. We tend to buy the girls behind the bar and the tea lady something as a thank you for all their efforts throughout the year. And then whatever's left, we have a night at the club and obviously put it back behind the bar at the club and have a good night after the last game of the season. So yeah, that is usually the plan. But like I said, this year we've not racked up as much as we usually do.
Real. And who's the most clutch player?
Mucky, without a doubt. Um, Obviously, we're massively missing him being injured, but with bat or ball, if you were in trouble, he is the man who would. Some of the knocks he's played, I've seen him play one this year in particular against Social when we beat Social at home. Um, I think Kurt went in at 9 or 10 with him with a score on 70, and somehow Mucky managed to get us to 200. But yeah, Mucky without a doubt.
Yeah, when you brought him in last year, I don't know if you heard of him before, and did you expect him to settle in as well as he did?
No, so I'd never heard of him. Genty obviously mentioned him to me. Um, obviously I'd never heard of him, never seen him play. So it was unknown when he come in, but yeah, trains hard, heart on the sleeve, and yeah, he leaves everything out there on the pitch. And like I say, some of the knocks and some of the spells of bowling that he's bowled have been superb.
Real. And who is the angriest after getting out?
Me again, 100%. I broke a bat the other week when I got out, so yeah.
Well, is it just why do you think you get? Is it just because you just want yourself, or just want
Yeah,
the
it's
system or
not
anything like that?
it's not all the time. It's if I've got out to a ball that I don't think I should have got out to, or if I'm putting a bit too much pressure on myself to score runs. Yeah, it tends to be that the bat and the helmet go around the change room a few times.
For you, I think you and Naeem got a decent knock on Saturday. I know it did in the grand scheme didn't really matter. Georgie Meal obviously got
Yeah,
continuing good form this year, but obviously that doing that because I think we spoke to you actually when you had Jake as pro. Not many batters down the order managed to get a chance to bat that
yeah,
year, and by that, when Jake did fall, you have an experience with a bat this year last bat year. With this year, you think when now you get him a chance for bats in the next couple of weeks, if you are need to do that, I think that kind of helps you and the other players to kind of contribute to the team in that way.
yeah, definitely. My thinking Saturday obviously were if I was needed on Sunday, a bit of time at the middle on Saturday would have helped. And obviously another big one were not to give Social an extra 2 points. People did it to us when we won the league. We very battled hard to not give us them extra 2 points. So, like I say, if we can ruffle a few feathers and do that in the back end of the year this year in our last 6 games, obviously, ideally we want to win stuff. But if we get in a situation like that again, then obviously we're going to be doing that.
I think that's another thing I want to mention is the bonus points. So the 2 points for bowling team out, the additional bonus point you can get through batting and bowling. I
Yeah.
think that brings something to the league in a way where a team like Farnborough at the start of the year weren't winning many games, but they managed to pick up many bonus points. And if you look at the top of the league now, it's becoming close because then bonus points are actually getting that team a bit of an advantage in a way.
Yeah, ourselves included. I say we've won eight and lost eight, but we're still in and around that sort of top four because when we were losing, we were still picking up 5, 6 points at a time. Where I think Saturday was the first time we'd lost and we didn't pick up any bonus points. So I think I say it's massive. It gives you something to work to. You don't want to just be winning and losing, do you? Where you lose and you don't get anything for. You could have bowled a side out, or you could have got within God knows how many of the total. I think it's really good for the league to have something like that. It's sort of a substitute for having a draw, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And if you were stuck on a desert island, which teammate would you hate to be stuck with and why?
Oh, Preston Hayhurst all day long. Yeah, he would. He comes out with some nonsense sometimes. So yeah, Preston, without a doubt.
And what's your predictions for this winter Ashes?
Oh, my head says England win 3-2.
Yeah, it should be a great
Yeah, I
test,
think
shouldn't it?
England are just going to be England, aren't they? They're going to go out there on rock hard decks in Australia and be aggressive. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be different from the last time we were in Australia. I think our team's changed a bit now. We've got a new style of play, and hopefully, if we can get to a good win in Perth, I think that's the
Yeah,
first game. Obviously, it's not ideal with cricket being played overnight, so a lot of people don't really get a chance to watch it. We see watch
yeah.
the highlights the next day. But yeah, fingers crossed it'll be a good test series, and
Yeah, I think
hopefully
the
England
one
can go
advantage
over it.
England have got now is there's a lot of pace in that bowling attack, isn't there? So if they can get that pace fire, and it could be a tasty series over there. So yeah, looking forward to watching it.
Yeah. So I think that's all the questions I have. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we finish?
No, mate, just keep up the good work.
Really? So thank you for coming on, and I'll get this out well straight away, and I'll wish you best luck for the season.
Nice one. Cheers, mate. Speak soon.
See ya. Bye.
Bye bye.